Now, let's talk about a very strange thing about NF as a rapper. This is a very much relevant conversation in relation to him, but I haven't seen anyone bring this up, so let's not waste any time and let's talk about it. Now, what exactly is this strange thing that I'm talking about? What I'm talking about is, and it's very simple by the way, but most people don't know who NF is. Specifically, most hip-hop and rap fans don't know who NF is, and they don't even know that he exists. If you're a fan of NF, then you most likely already know what I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, let me further explain myself. To answer this question, we gotta look at him as an artist and pinpoint exactly what audience he's speaking to. NF is a rapper who's been slowly building a very cult-like fan base in the underground scene for a couple years now. In the beginning stages of him coming up, a lot of people placed him in that Christian rapper box, and as a direct result of that, his fan base mainly consisted of people who liked that subgenre of rap. In August 2016 though, he released a song called Therapy Session where he was kinda taking a stand against him being considered a Christian rapper, and he made this very clear. Now, this is what he said on that song. "You wanna know what it's like to meet me in person? Listen to my verses. This music is not just for people who sit in the pews and pray at the churches." And then on another line on that same song, he says, "Christian is not the definition of what perfect means." And as you can see, that classic woo! This was actually around the time when he started diversifying his fan base. NF now wasn't only attracting people who wanted to hear a Christian rapper. Instead, he started attracting people who liked rap period as fans. And see, this is exactly where this whole conversation of NF being such an outlier in hip-hop comes in. This is a person who pretty much came out of nowhere, at least in the eyes of the mainstream. He got the #1 album on the Billboard charts and it sold over 55,000 copies first week. He has a song with over 500 million streams on Spotify, that song being Let You Down, that's received multiple platinum plaques, but somehow outside of his fan base, he's not very well known. It's very weird for me to even say this because I've personally never seen anything like this. I mean, technically, if you look at the numbers, he's globally known, he's selling at shows all over the world, he has over 1 billion streams to his name, but when it comes to his existence in hip-hop, I'm starting to notice that that is pretty much non-existent. What I've noticed about NF is, and by the way, what I'm gonna say next comes from personal experience, so there's no real way to measure my own experience in the grand scheme of things in relation to NF, but what I've noticed is there's a pattern of hip-hop fans not being aware of NF or his movement. I think one of the reasons why this is happening is because most of his fans go to his music because they're not too fond of other kinds of rap music. This is exactly what happened to Hopsin when he was coming up a couple years ago. In Hopsin's case though, he kind of brought it upon himself because he purposely alienated himself from hip-hop by dissing so many rappers time after time. When it comes to NF, I think he's one of those extremely rare cases who's growing his name outside of hip-hop, so really he's starting from the outside going in. Usually what happens with rappers who become big nowadays is one of their songs starts blowing up and the people supporting that song are obviously most of the time rap fans. After that, they go from just appealing to that specific audience to then going global and expanding from that point. Of course, when it comes to NF, this is the complete opposite. Let's talk about another aspect of this entire thing. I would personally label NF as an outcast, no pun intended, in hip-hop for the simple fact that he's not going out of his way to associate himself with artists from the rap industry. I want you to think about that because when we as hip-hop fans, when we think about the word collaboration, often we think about two artists coming together and making a song, right? It doesn't always have to be a song though. It can be as simple as posting an Instagram picture together and people will be spamming the comment section with, "When are you guys gonna make a song together?" That's another way of collaborating. Just the association alone will create a conversation. But looking through NF's Instagram though, it's very clear to me that he's not trying to be a part of the industry. Matter of fact, he's kind of mysterious and very much to himself. And to be honest, if you compare him to your average rapper, he's extremely obscure. There's not a whole lot on the internet about his personal life, which is a good thing because I'm suspecting me and NF are kind of the same. I personally value my privacy a lot. Just looking at everything surrounding him, from the music to the actual lyrical content of his tracks to his entire brand, he wants his records to speak for him more than anything. And the quote-unquote negative, even though it's not really a negative thing because he's already very successful at what he does, but the quote-unquote negative thing about this is he might be left out of hip-hop due to this. That's why the strange thing about NF is even a conversation to begin with. There's something refreshing about seeing a rapper coming up in a very untraditional way. It says a lot about what's really possible, and in this case, you don't need to be accepted by hip-hop to make a living off of rapping. NF is a real-life example of just that. Now, I want to ask what you personally have to say about this though. This strange thing about NF where he's such a big name but he doesn't really get any recognition for it in hip-hop, why do you think that's happening? Could one of the reasons be just because he's such a low-key personality in the industry, or maybe does it have to do with the fact that he went about building his fan base in a very different kind of way from any other rapper? Definitely let me know in the comments section below and let's have a discussion about this.